Hey, welcome to Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Jeff Siembieda, Executive Director of the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. And this is an annual year, and it's just so good. So much excitement for you, Jeff.
It's been different this year. Yeah, it's exciting as we go into year 18 of this thing. And there's a little bit of a buzz and a different feel. And for the first time, New Mexico State's in the game. Fresno State's coming back. I love the matchup. I love the excitement. But you know me. I mean, this is something that I do all year, and I so totally believe in what we're doing with this thing. So it's good to watch it grow and get to this level.
Tell you, 18 years, and we always reminisce a little bit. I always like to laugh. Jeff's doing a bowl game, and Christmas it's going to be cold, and
it is going to be cold.
It's going to be cold. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah. It might be cold.
And he's competing against the Rose Bowl, and he's competing against this, and and really over the years, really you're not competing. You have something really that is, and you've done it for the community of New Mexico.
Yeah, I don't know that I think we're competing with the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
I like to believe we're
But
competing.
I'm just saying that's what people were saying.
Yeah, no, I know. I remember. And I think people have realized there's a place for the Rose Bowl, certainly, but I mean there's a place for games like ours. There's something that 10-4 and 8-4 New Mexico State and Fresno State can play for. There's something that understanding that college football is evolving and going now into the expanded playoff. There's still a place for these communities like ours to be able to host and throw a party and do something really special for teams that maybe don't make the Final Four right now and next year the Final 12. And so, I had a vision of it. I think it's still building towards what I had a vision of, but I'm proud that it's kind of a tradition now. You and I now know people who have kids who have been to every game. My daughter's been to every game. I've got buddies who got kids who've been to every New Mexico Bowl, now has led a New Mexico Bowl, 18 years worth, except for the one maybe the COVID year that we had to take it to Frisco, and holiday time is snow on the Sandias and the bowl game, and then the fat guy coming down the chimney, and it's kind of cool. And this year's party has got a just different feel, and the demand on tickets, on the high, the premium seating is like, Zia tickets and club tickets, and they're all gone. Like there's no suites. People are calling, well, what do you mean? They're gone. Like and it's kind of cool.
And the thing about it is, you warned them. I listened to your show, and you're saying, guys, get in, and this is out of my control. Most of the time, like I said, you have some extras or whatever, and you're very good about it, getting it to whoever helps you. But this one here is the demand, and before I go on to that subject, this is something you've been trying to get New Mexico State here for. I mean, this is kind of a dream come true for you.
Well, in large respect, it worked out. We've always said that we want New Mexico State in the game when it's right. And in the 18 years, they've been eligible 3 times. The first year, we certainly wanted them, and they had a contract with the Arizona Bowl because they were independent, and so that's where they went that year. And then they were eligible last year on the waiver, and it just worked. Because we were on ABC last year, and we had the BYU commitment. Our game was not publicly set, but pretty much set 2 to 3 weeks back. And then when they became eligible, it wasn't right for us, and it worked out really well for them. They went to Detroit, had a great time, played. They won their game. It was great for them. And then this year it's right, and they're having their best season in 60 plus years, and their fans are excited. And this is going back to what you were saying, how I was warning people, or at least suggesting to people over the last few weeks, to get in now. This whole concept, well, New Mexico State's going to play into a better bowl, and I kept saying, well, what better bowl are they playing into? And if they would have won the conference championship, they would probably, and I say probably, but most likely and almost absolutely have played in this game. We're not too little of a bowl to host a conference champion. And in fact, now we're hosting a team who played a conference championship again. And that's happened before. Central Michigan was here, and we almost had it on the other side this year. And the beauty is, when I say, well, what better bowl do you think they're playing into? Just because it's New Mexico doesn't mean we're not at a level. Look, I get it. There's the Rose Bowl, right? The New Year's 6 bowls, right? There's a level. And then there's another level of there's the Power school versus power school games, Alamo Bowl and Holiday Bowl and what Vegas has done, and there's that level. But of the group of 5 games, we don't take a back seat to anybody. And Fresno State's asked to come back this year. There were other schools who wanted to come in this year. Rich Rodriguez, when he was in Arizona, asked to come back a second time. Our reputation in the bowl industry, in college football, is something that I'm really proud of. And I want to put that to bed a little bit, this whole, well, they could have played into a better game. Where are they going? And understand a little bit the contracts. Conference USA has contracts with bowls, and right, it's not just the Alamo Bowl was going to give up whatever they got, Pac-12 versus Big Ten, because New Mexico State was having a great season. Nothing against them. And so I was trying to tell people, maybe you want to get in now because the tickets are going to go pretty quick.
Well, I tell you what, they're going pretty quick, and that's exciting. I mean, that's what a bowl game should be. And who would ever thought? And I'm an Aggie fan. If they're not playing the Lobos,
fair enough.
Okay,
and you're a Lobo.
I'm a New Mexico fan, and I root probably more
for the state,
for the whole state. And we do Western, we do Highlands, we're working out. We do a lot for UNM, but you and I are thinking on the same page. If New Mexico State's in a basketball game or in a deal, I look at the scores, I root for them to win. Eastern, Western, I look for them to win. I've done. ProView's done a great job. Of doing that for the community, just like you have for the not as big of a level, but we have the same passion and desire for the state of New Mexico.
Right. No, that's right.
But who would it worked to your. Who would have ever thought that New Mexico State football would be talked on a national level every week since they beat Auburn?
Yeah. And even a little bit before that, and
but I'm just saying
when they beat Auburn, it blew up, right? And then they beat Jacksonville State, and then they were in the game with Liberty, and Pavia gets hurt, and they lose the game, and now Liberty's playing in the Fiesta Bowl. But what was good for Conference USA? Those Wednesday and Tuesday and Thursday night games, and the strategy of playing those October games midweek. And I know a lot of people kind of railed on, well, what are they doing that? Well, it was great for the MAC. The MACtion and the Fun Belt that they've done on weeknights, Conference USA got with their television partners, with ESPN and CBS, and they said, let's capitalize it. Way more people watch those games on Wednesday, Thursday, and Tuesdays than probably would have watched them, in a full Saturday slate, because there's only 1 or 2 games on Tuesday. We watch football. And so people saw them play, and so their brand grew. And by the way, they kept winning, and the magic that went through it. It was great for them. And then when they go in, they didn't just beat Auburn. They clobbered Auburn. They dominated them. And then the next week, Auburn was a Hail Mary away from beating Alabama. Now Alabama's in the playoff, and, deduct it how you wish. I mean, but it's insane.
It came up in the selection of Alabama getting into because and Auburn got beat by New Mexico State, and they went on a Hail Mary deal. Could New Mexico State beat Alabama? And
it's like, okay, easy, right? Yeah.
I mean, I'm like sitting here. How great is that? So
yeah.
But we're gonna go to the Dreamstyle top 10 plays of the week, and it's not the Dreamstyle. It's Everguard Roofing top 10 plays of the week. I was so used to saying that, and just like you got a sponsor with his letter, it's a Mexico ball game, and I'm so excited you're here. So I just got ahead of myself, and we're going to come back and talk. We'll talk about the opposing team that's coming in.
Yeah.
Inside. Beautiful layup for Tyshawn Austin.
Looks like we're trying to feed it in there, and that was intercepted by Dyer. He gets it up to Chavez on the fast break. Here's Cowles, kind of fumbles it. And tough basket by Cowles. Ties up things at 9 in the first quarter. Not going to go for him. finds Chavez. And there's a dunk.
Well, that got the crowd going right now.
There they go. Steal for Brisby on a bounce pass. Right side and sent away. Access denied. Fuentes sent it away. And then a blocking foul. Count the basket and a chance at a 3-point play for Vincent James. You know, 3 team fouls apiece here. Wrong guy to leave open. Navarez.
Still working out with the team.
Yeah,
every day.
Takes a lot to do
numbers.
that. And he stole the ball. He passes it off. Dunk time.
Half. And the Hawks lead by 7, force another turnover. That's Lund. Lund puts it down.
Tosses it out, opens up a little room for Weinrich, but Weinrich will give it right back to Elijah. Martinez, there it is for Elijah Martinez.
Zamora pulls it, that one's short, rebound Aguino. Aguino going coast to coast and all the way to the rim, and he puts it down with the hammer.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Welcome back, Steve Davis Show. We got Jeff Siembieda, Executive Director of the Isleta New Mexico Bowl, and great sponsorship, by the way. Let's just start with that, right, before we start about Fresno State.
Yeah, no, it's so exciting for us. You know, they've been a partner, Isleta has, for 14 years. We've been doing this now 18, I think 13, 14 years. And when we went to them this year, it was kind of mutual, you know. Obviously, we were looking for a title partner. And I had about 4 conversations going on, relatively serious conversations with companies, and 1 or 2 local. And you know, they were asking how do we step up, how do we do this better and bigger. And so we presented to tribal council, and here we are. And you know, for a brand that has done so many positive things in our community, such a positive brand with Isleta, with, you know, the resort, the casino, the golf course, the lakes, everything that they do there. And now we're able to put them on a national level with a college football bowl game. They had commercials running on ESPN during our, you know, ESPN, for those who don't know, ESPN owns New Mexico Bowl, or the Isleta New Mexico Bowl now, as well as we own 17 total bowl games, 35, 36 events. And so we were able to get their commercials on during ESPN basketball events, I believe during the ESPN Invitational and the Charleston and Myrtle Beach, and a bunch of our early season games. They'll have presence, obviously, during our game. And they stepped up and they wanted to do this, and I'm excited for them, and I'm excited for us. It's been so far just an insanely wonderful, positive relationship, and we will have the luncheon down there at the Isleta Resort on Friday before the game. Marshall Faulk, the former San Diego State star, the Rams star, the Hall of Famer, is going to be in town, and he'll be speaking at that.
Speaking of how powerful ESPN is, okay, and I forgot to tell you this because you and I have been a little bit busy.
Yeah,
a
little
bit
busy
over the last month and a half. or you've been a little busier longer than that, but I'm just saying about, we've had state playoffs and we've got basketball starting.
You guys are busy.
We got it. But I got a text from our friend Dick Hunsaker.
Yeah.
And he wanted to congratulate you on the commercial that his letter ran because he saw it and he just said, hey, this is really good for the state of New Mexico. It's really good for the casino. It's just really good, the one that shows
New Mexico
and the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So I just want, you don't hear, you and I
really
don't
cool.
hear compliments. All we hear is the negative things that we didn't
promise.
do.
I promise.
We didn't do or didn't get done, but nobody ever says, hey, good job.
So
you got to, and on top of that, you got a compliment from Dick Hunsaker.
Yeah, which doesn't happen a lot. That's a shout out to what Isleta wanted to do, and to Shelley Gregory and John Gregory and their creative team, what they created because they made it about New Mexico. And I think it was wonderful, and so that's their creative, and I shout out to them.
So I didn't get a chance to tell you that, but I mean, it's good to hear, get a text from somebody out of the blue that
who saw it and just got that's
going,
really
man,
cool.
this is because he understands how hard it's been for you to get to where you're at.
Well, it's like anything else, right? What you did to build ProView and watching it thrive now and over the last bunch of years, it's just so impressive, and everything's work. I mean, my dad used to tell me, and I know everybody's heard it. I mean, nothing comes easy, and if it's not hard, it's probably not worth it. And people think, what do you do all year? Well, I work all year to get to here. Now, these last few weeks are brutal. And the intricacies and the details you wouldn't even think of, and we will overlook something. I think last year we overlooked getting a bartender to pour beer in the VIP tent. One of our people, Kara, was certified, and she poured beer until we got a bartender in there, right? I mean, just all the little minutia, from sideline vests to painting the field, parking and gifting, but it's worth it. I mean, it's. When we have a drink at the end of the day, and we do have a drink at the end of the day, usually we're pretty proud of what we did, and I'm proud of what this has done for our state. It's been incredibly positive, and I think this year's going to be fun.
Well, let's talk about Fresno State. And everybody's, it's not all about New Mexico. I mean, it takes two in this thing, and impressive year.
You got a good football team coming in. They started out 8-1, and they were ranked. They went to Purdue. They beat Purdue on the road. They went to Big Ten country. They beat Arizona State on the road. They beat both of the teams who were in the Mountain West Conference championship game. That was UNLV and Boise State. So they beat both of them. Had a couple hiccups down the stretch, and then Jeff Tedford, their head coach, is going to miss the game. He's out with taking care of some health issues. So Tim Skipper, who'll be the head coach, and it's kind of cool, right? Trey Watson, their tight end, is from New Mexico, a Rio Rancho kid. And Tim Skipper, their interim head coach, played there. He's been Fresno State's been to our game 4 times now. He'll be part of it 3. This time as head coach, but he started his coaching career in New Mexico at Western New Mexico. It was his first ever coaching job, and he said in the press conference that I just can't get away from New Mexico, and he's coming back. And look, they've got a talented football team. Their wide receiver core is as good as anybody in certainly in the Mountain West, and I think out west. And they're a good football team. We've had good games now. One thing we've done well is put together good games over the years. And last year we had another one, 24-23. I think we're going to have another really good football game. Well,
I just want to let you know, you just made me feel bad, okay, in a good way. But, New Mexico Highlands is playing this weekend. This is going to be my first game I miss. I mean,
all right. Can we DVR it for him? Can we?
I don't want to.
Can we get him a blanket? I'll find you a blanket.
So anyway, but I just looked at my schedule, and I just looked last week, and I'm going, man, I'm going to break the news to you, and that's something I look forward to, and I know you look forward to seeing me there.
Yeah, I know. So, I'm bummed you're going to miss it. Let me see if I can move the date. When will it work for you?
Can you get that? When will it work? Hey, we're going to go to a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about all the events coming up this week.
Yeah, and a little bit of advice for people coming when we come back.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burkia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We got Jeff Siembieda, the executive director of the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. And tell you what, we got to have a schedule up here, and you can walk us through it and go through the whole thing.
Oh,
See,
look
you can even read it. I made it easy for you.
I watched when that was being typed up. No, that's good. Yeah, and I don't know when does this air? Are we?
We're live right now.
So Tuesday night, Fresno State will get in, and then New Mexico State comes in tomorrow. Actually, Fresno State's coming in a day early. And then they get their welcome dinner. They do an event out at Main Event. It's fun, games, pizza, go out and be kids. They come back and they'll do their gift suites where they get all their gifts, and it's a great event for them. And then they'll practice on Thursday. We'll do U.S. Bank's putting on a financial seminar for the schools and for the student athletes on Thursday, which is actually really, really, really good. They'll do an event out at the convention center, like a Family Feud kind of event. And I'll host a VIP dinner that night on Thursday. And then big kickoff luncheon at Isleta on Friday. Van Tate, Channel 13, will host the pep rally. Old Town Plaza, 4 o'clock, open to the public. It's free, and it's really fun. It's really, really fun right there at the gazebo at the plaza.
Open to the public. That's a big deal.
That one's free and open to the public. And then Fan Fest will open up at 11:45, right around noon, and game at 3:45. And so I really want to help people with this, so I'm going to suggest get in early. And I know when you hear 3:45, and especially around here, people want to get that last beer and start walking to the gate at 3:30. Can I just please suggest you get in early, please, and utilize everybody.
So what do you mean by early?
Well, go in at 2:30. Go in at 2:45. The game's at 3:45. Start walking to the gates at 2:45. And I know we're going to get complaints on Monday. Well, we couldn't get any. Well, you can't. Any event you go to, there's going to be a crowd, and there's going to be metal detectors and scanning and all that stuff. First of all, everybody goes to those two gates, the northeast and the northwest gates. And I'm going to suggest the southwest gate is open. There's 2 gates on that north side right underneath the scoreboard. Those get so underutilized. Go in through there. There's other gates besides those 2, and they're going to just get hammered at game time. So I do suggest get in early because the bands are going to be playing. There is beer available inside. It's not a dry stadium anymore. You can get a beer inside. And the flyover is going to be at the national anthem. Do yourselves a favor. I know for the New Mexico State game, there was a good crowd. Everybody tried to get in at the last minute, and people we didn't get in until almost halftime. I got it, and that's because you tried to get in at last minute. Do yourself a favor, but you see the map there. Everybody goes in at those northeast and northwest gates. There's some where the general admission is right there under the scoreboard. You can get in there. The southwest gate is open. The gate right there on the west side is open. So utilize the other gates besides those two and try to get yourself in early. The Fan Fest is going to be really fun. New Mexico State's tailgate, part 10 is huge. The ESPN Tito's tailgate is huge. But do yourselves a favor and get in early and utilize some of the other gates besides just those two, northeast, northwest.
Well, I tell you, you always do something different every year. Okay, and I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm just saying I probably should have asked you before as I mentioned this, but is there something a little bit,
little few things. You'll see a few twists.
Okay, so I just want to say that
you'll see a few twists during the game that'll be a little different. One thing we're doing, friends of ours that have passed, were so a big part of the game. Calvin Allen, former Lobo, who passed away a few years ago. Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits has partnered with a couple of their brands to do Cal's Corner. And so they're hosting Cal Jr. in honor of his dad, and a good friend of ours is hosting Special Olympic athletes, which I think is special. And then someone who's near and dear to you and I, Mike Danoff, the Mike Danoff Memorial Scholarship, is being awarded on the field. And in fact, the family this year is awarding 2 scholarships. And my daughter, Addie, is receiving one on the field. And I was so humbled by this whole thing because, I said, I'm going to recuse myself. I don't. And they said, nope. Mike loved your daughter, and so we're going to do 2 this year. And the family just was so insanely generous and kind to, Addie loved Mike, and I think Mike loved Addie. And so, just remembering some people who were so big in our community and so big for our event on the field with special things to keep their memory and their honor and their name alive, because, those were 2 insanely big personalities and special people to us.
Well, special people to both of us.
Yeah.
So, and what they've done for the community still lives on.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I still have Mike stories that we're always laughing about.
We did that about a month ago, right?
I did.
.com, we're using the UNM ticket office, which is 505-925-5626, or as Lobo fans like to say, 505-925-LOBO, which will work for you as well. Again, most of the lower bowl, especially on the east side, is gone. But there's tickets available, and it's not big enough stadium to have bad seats, right? All the tickets are good. I think it's going to be a really good time. I'm going to suggest you get there early. There will be traffic. There will be lines getting into the game, right? That's what happens. That's
what's a good time. And you're warning everybody.
I'm just it's a weird town sometimes because people want to leave the house half hour early and expect to be in their seat at game time. Probably not going to happen on this one. So plan ahead. The weather looks good. I'm seeing 50 degrees as a daytime high. It'll get chilly when the sun goes down in the second half. So it's football. It's cold. It's not like last year. Last year was brutal. But yeah, look, go out and have fun. I think it's our state's biggest party. I do. It's a celebration, and if you've been there, you get it, and you're coming back. I know that. If you haven't, it's one of those where everybody's got a smile on their face and a drink in their hand, whether it's a soda or a beer or whatever, and everybody's in a good mood celebrating New Mexico and Albuquerque and college football. It puts us on a landscape and in a room with the great cities in America. And I tell people all the time, and I've told you this for I don't know how many years in a row sitting right here. Look, if you're not into football, college football is not your thing, that's cool. But there's no negatives about this event. Everything is positive. Everything, it contributes to our economy. It puts us on a national scale. It showcases Albuquerque and New Mexico for 3.5 hours on national TV, and people will watch this game. And I've gone over my time.
We're running out of time.
I didn't hear it in my ear, man. I'm sorry. Wrap it up.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
No,
Good
thanks.
luck to you, man.
I appreciate you. Always do. Thanks, Aaron.